4 years ago, on April 9th, 2021, I died. My heart stopped, I seized, and I was gone. But a month before this, the Father warned me in a dream that it was coming. This is the raw, real story of how He saved me and a little girl from the enemy's grip. Stay with me as I share details I've never shared publicly before, and there's definitely something in this for you. And it all starts with a dream. On March 2nd, 2021, I awoke with a dream that shook me to my core. It was certainly the most terrifying and earth-shattering dream I'd ever experienced. But it didn't start out that way. It's almost like we're seeing the beginning of creation. We're seeing the unfolding of the Father's kingdom. But the interesting thing about it was, in the dream, it was Aslan's kingdom. Now, it wasn't Narnia with like talking animals, but instead of it being like the Christian kingdom, it was Aslan's kingdom. And I was hearing Aslan's voice narrating the whole thing, though I never saw Aslan. But at one point, this dream suddenly pivots, and I realize I'm alone. My wife and my friend are not with me. And the setting that I'm in gets very serious, very sober, and kind of actually hurts my stomach to think back to the feeling that I had when this dream arrived at this spot. And I started to see all of these princes of these different eras of Aslan's kingdom being taken out, being killed before their appointed time. Aslan's voice narrated that the princesses had lost their princes to this dark magic time and time again. And I was just watching as if history was, I was seeing different eras where this happened again and again. And I realized at some point that there's a young man behind me. I say a young man, he's definitely a mature man. He's tall, very mysterious, if you will. And then all of a sudden, I start thinking, wait, why am I seeing all this? Why is this being shown to me over and over again? And I start to think, am I in danger of this particular attack? And then all of a sudden, the ride stops. Just cold turkey, and we're in the middle of these cliffs. The young man is beside me, and I start to worry, like, oh no, if this is like sort of a warning to me, then is this guy gonna kill me? And quickly, as soon as the ride stops, he turns around and he actually says that he was a messenger sent from Aslan, and that I was actually in danger of the attack that I had just been witnessing, but that he was sent there to help me. Now, one of the things that the messenger of Aslan said to me at the end of the dream was, we have to remove the taste of death from your mouth. Now, I had no idea what that meant, and it really freaked me out. The taste of death. It's in my mouth. We have to remove it. What is the taste of death? And I had no idea how or when this attack was going to happen. Now, let me give a little bit of backstory real quick. For years, I had been fighting something unseen. In 2018, I started having really weird heart issues. My heart was stopping for like a second or two and then ramping back up. And this would happen several times a day, and then several times an hour, and then several times a minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I had no idea what was going on. And it doesn't sound like a long time for your heart to stop, but if you've ever experienced anything like that, it sends a whole physiological response every single time. You instantly feel like you're suffocating, and panic ensues, right? Every cell in your body depends on your heart. So this thing happening day and night, several times a minute, was really difficult. Now, another thing was, back in 2011, just a few months after I gave my life to Jesus, I went for a dentist appointment where the dentist accidentally put the Novocaine shot that he was giving me too far back and into my carotid artery. It went straight to my brain and then through my jugular to my heart. The hardest thing I've ever gone through, bar none. I instantly felt it. It felt like fire went up the side of my face, and then nothing on this side of my face would move. I'm trying to tell him to take the needle out, and then I end up having a full-blown seizure and my heart stops. And in this seizure, I'm conscious. Like I can't control my brain, but I'm feeling extreme pain, extreme chaos, and I'm feeling like I'm suffocating. I feel like I'm burning up on fire. I feel like electricity is flowing through me. And I had no idea who I was or where I was or what was happening. I couldn't put thoughts together. Eventually my brain clicked. I shot up in the chair and I'm praying, and it took several minutes for my eyesight to come back. But in the ER, the doctor, or not doctor, I don't know what you call him, ER specialist, the person who treated me said that he'd only seen this 2 other times, but that I would be fine. There's no long-term medical concerns with what happened. The peer-reviewed published science is actually not at all indicating what that ER specialist told me. It was flat out wrong. All of the studies say the exact opposite. It's very concerning what happens when Novocaine goes to the brain and or to the heart. The other thing that was happening was we had hidden black mold in our apartment that we did not know about. It was behind walls and under carpets for years. Now, how does this lead in? Ultimately, this was the setup plan from the enemy concerning how he was trying to take me out. And then came April 9th, 2021. Again, this is just over a month after the taste of death dream. And I'm having these heart issues again. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just plugging away with life, not sure when it's coming, how it's coming, what is coming. But I'm at the ministry I work for. We had just finished a worship set. And all of a sudden, this child care worker busts into the room that me and this worship team are in. And it's one of the children of one of the people from the worship team. And she screams out, "We think she's choking. We don't know what's going on." Now, the little girl in her arms is limp and purple. Her eyes are in the back of her head. She's unconscious, foaming at the mouth. And as soon as she said, "We think she's choking, we don't know what's happening," I instantly, clearly heard the Father. And this isn't something that happens to me all the time, or maybe ever this clear, but it was this clear. He said, "She's not choking, it's something else. This is an attack from the enemy against her life, and I want you to manifest my kingdom." Now, there's a lot happening. This is all going very quickly. Mom grabs the baby, gets on her knees on the floor, and is pounding the baby's back to try to dislodge whatever's in the baby's throat or esophagus. And a bunch of us rush around to pray. People had already called the police to send ambulances. And we have our hands on the baby, including myself. And as the mom's, hitting the baby, mom's going to break the baby's ribs to save the baby's life, right? But I'm hearing every now and then, the baby's not breathing, but I'm hearing this when she'd hit her. And so I just said out loud, just to maybe ease the mom from pounding the baby, "Hey, I don't think there's anything lodged in her throat. I don't think she's choking. I think it's something else." And then I go back to praying. And the mom, all she could do was, she's on her knees with her baby in her lap and just crying. And we're just praying. And then that's when things really started shifting for me. Now, a couple minutes goes by, and I realize I'm the only one still here praying for the baby. Everyone else is kind of backed up. And I start to think wait, why am I doing this again? This mom is just weeping, and this baby's limp, laying in her arms, gone. I literally think, now is not the time to be a super Christian. Now is the time for compassion and space. This mom just lost her baby, so I need to do what everyone else is doing and give her some space. But that thought was so contradictory to what I previously heard. So I pray and I ask the Father, and almost before I can even ask, again, I crystal clear hear him say, that was a thought from the enemy to sow seeds of doubt. I told you to manifest my kingdom. So again, I'm the only one with my hand on the baby, and I'm just like, I gotta keep praying. But things really start going weird for me. All of a sudden, I start feeling super sick, like 100 out of 100 level nausea. And I can't breathe. Like, I'm breathing, but I'm suffocating. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling really hot, and I'm losing my sight, and I'm getting super weak, and I'm like, no idea what's going on. I'm feeling awful. I've never experienced anything like this before. Now, I've prayed for a lot of crazy situations and people in crazy situations. I've prayed for the sick to be healed. I've prayed for demons to be cast out of people, and I've seen the Father do those things. But I've never experienced anything like what's actually happening to me as I'm praying for someone else. And this has me really tempted to waver. Like the bodily and brain stuff is like, I got to get out of here. But I just feel such divine compassion for this little girl. Like, not even my compassion. It's almost like the Father helped me have his compassion. Confident that she has to live through this. So I kept praying, and then all of a sudden she takes a deep breath and lifts up her head and looks straight at her mom. And I'll never forget that moment. That mom just holding her baby's head, just saying, "Oh, my baby, my baby." And I could tell just instantly, okay, she's gonna be fine. But now, what's happening to me? Like, because it's not getting better, it's getting worse by the second. And it's very clear that the enemy wasn't just after her, he's now after me too. Now, just to clarify what happened to the little girl, she's totally a normal little girl now. She's totally fine. What I heard from people later that day and throughout that weekend was that even as the paramedics arrived, they said that she was totally stable by the time she got there. She'd had an infection in her blood that went septic, and her brain was essentially cutting everything off. But by the time they got to the hospital, they said, we would be totally comfortable leaving her, like, you guys take her and go home. But because of protocol, we have to keep her overnight. Now, that's just what I was told. So the little girl is a very normal little girl now. So again, that's what happened after she took her first breath and looked at her mom and had that moment. But now I'm like, okay, she's fine, but I got to get out of here because I don't know what's happening to me. And there's 20, 30 people in this room. I don't want to freak people out. So I attempt to get up and I stumble through the room. I go to a door. It's the door to leave the room that basically just on the outside of it is the parking lot. So I step outside and I sit down against the wall in the parking lot because I don't know if I'm about to pass out or what. And what a friend told me after, a couple of friends actually were talking together, and they said that when they saw me get up, they said, Boren, you were paper white. And they saw me stumbling around the room to go out, and after they didn't see me come back in, one of them got out to check on me. And she said that when she saw me that second time, just a few moments later, she said, you were literally the color green. It was like the color of death. She said I was clutching my heart and sinking over. She quickly called for help. Now, what happened to me was I had the exact same experience as my 2011 dentist visit. They said that for somewhere between 30 to 60 seconds, my heart was stopped and I was having a seizure. And they were able to help me because the nurse recognized what was happening as soon as I started to seize, and they were able to protect my head, but they couldn't really do anything about my heart. And in that moment, I'm feeling all of the same awful things that I had felt 10 years prior, and the brain isn't working. But there's this crazy thing that happened. And, Paul tells us in Romans 8, the Holy Spirit works with our spirit to confirm to us that we're the children of God. So we have a spirit that's different than the Holy Spirit, okay? And I surmise that I was aware of my spirit in this moment because, again, my brain is not working. It's literal electric fuzz. And I'm going through a chaotic moment, absolute panic, absolute terror, horror, pain. But this other part of me is at the most rest I've ever experienced. Rest, not like, it'll be okay, I'm going to die and go to heaven. Rest is in, I'm going to make it out of this just fine. And that part of me was totally aware, was putting all the pieces, not putting them together. It was like they were already together. I was aware of the dream, the little girl, the demonic event that happened with that, the taste of death, the reference to the Novocaine shot that happened to me at the dentist chair just months after I'd given my life to Jesus, where the enemy actually tried to kill me then. And then if he couldn't, tried to make sure there was an open door to try to kill me again later. This is all, it's like I'm aware of all of this in that very same moment that the rest of me is an absolute primal panic and on the edge of death. And that part of me was praying over and over again, Father, give me grace. Father, give me grace. And it was like that part of me knew it wasn't a request out of need. It wasn't help me. It was just an absolute fact. I'm asking for grace. Your work isn't finished in my life. And you showed me in the dream that you were going to get me through this. So I'm asking for grace with an absolute expectation. You're going to give it to me. And I'm going to live. Now, I came back, but that wasn't it for me. The next several months, the next 3 months were the hardest time of my life. The next 6 months total was also the hardest time of my life, but really that concentrated 3 months. It was so difficult, and my heart was so weak that it struggled to beat and would stop frequently. I had to be very careful going upstairs or walking somewhere. I had to sleep on my left side for 3 months because if I laid on my back or my right side or my stomach, my heart was too weak to beat. I would literally start suffocating. And on top of that, there were constant flare-ups or cues that would bring me almost like a PTSD shell shock. Like a wind would hit my neck funny and it would feel like a sensation, like what happened before everything that happened on April 9th. And so I was in these constant states of absolute mental, physiological panic. But I stayed firm on the promise that the taste of death was not going to conquer me. And even in the midst of this incredibly trying several months, I was standing on the fact that the Father said I would live, I would not die, and I was going to make it through this. The body said I would die. And it didn't matter what anyone else said. Even one time it happened at the doctor's office. There's nothing they could do. But there was that peace inside of me, that grace that was imparted to stand. I'm not going to die, no matter what my brain, body, and heart are saying. I'm going to live because He said I'd live. And I believe that if you're facing an obstacle And it doesn't matter if it seems way smaller than mine, but this also applies if it's way bigger than mine. Because difficulties are difficulties, and the enemy is at work, and he's trying to hit us in the areas that hurt the most. But I can say with absolute certainty that the Father is fighting for us, and we don't have to fight for ourselves. We can't help it if we fight for ourselves. We have to trust him, and he's given us the grace to do so. So don't give way to fear. Your body and brain and circumstances might be telling you everything the opposite, but you have the grace to stand in faith. And I know that for sure, when all is said and done, you'll see that all things have worked together for your good. Because the Father loves you, and he has called you. So here we are, April 9th, 2025, and I'm alive. Now, this day also catalyzed something really spectacular 4 years ago. On that same day that I busted myself out of the hospital, we received a prophetic word pointing us to Luke 4:18 and 19. Now, this is where Jesus proclaims the Jubilee, or the year of the Lord's favor. And that catalyzed a song that Ashley and I received from the Spirit and began writing. And for years, the Father prepped this song and would not let us release it until the time was right. Now, we went and received all kinds of confirmations from the Father to move forward with this song. We got connected with a awesome studio in Boston who helped us record this song. And many of you actually partnered with us financially to make this song a reality. And here we go. 4/18, that's Friday, April 18th, this year, coming up soon, we are releasing Jubilee Song. We're debuting ourselves as the Christian music artists, Doulos Worship, and we're proclaiming the year of the Lord's favor with Jubilee Song. It's a song of victory because of the freedom that we get to live in, the victory that we have inherited, because Jubilee is Jesus. Jesus himself fulfilled the Jubilee, and that has made us the living Jubilee in the earth today. So, follow us on our other YouTube channel that we just opened up, Doulos Worship. That's where we're releasing most of our music stuff. And be sure to click the link in the description so that you can pre-save this song, Jubilee Song, so that on 4/18, you can join with us in singing it. And if you're under attack, just remember your life matters in his kingdom. You're a prince, you're a princess. Ask for grace. He's faithful and he will answer. And more grace is coming to you today through this video, and we also believe on 4/18 through this song. Now, thanks for watching this video, and if it blessed you, hit the subscribe button and the bell. Don't miss Jubilee Song on Friday, 4/18. And let me know in the comments how this blessed you, or if you've had any experiences in your life where you felt like the Father warned you of something that was to come and got you through that challenging time. I want to hear it. We want to read these things. We love seeing these testimonies and interacting with you on this channel. Now, you can also watch this video. If you click the link, you'll get to a video where I'm talking about hearing the voice of God through the Holy Spirit. And keep an eye out, because I just asked AI a serious question about evolution, and it admitted intelligent design makes more sense. That's dropping soon. Crazy stuff, and I'll see you on that video.